guys, so today is Monday, so it means I am 2 days post competition, and I just want to give you kind of a big overview of the entire process, how things went, and some thoughts I have on it and things like that. So it's going to be kind of long. Hopefully you have the patience and some time to sit down for a few minutes, grab some popcorn. It may take just a little bit. So our show was on Saturday and it's in Charleston, so that right away should tell you that could be an issue. Um, our plan all along was to leave on Thursday, drive halfway, spend the night, and then get up Friday morning and finish the drive. So on about Wednesday, we knew things could be iffy just because of the hurricane that was coming and was kind of hitting the East Coast around the same time. So I checked with the promoter and everything was still on. We wanted to make sure we didn't drive all the way to Charleston and there not be a show. So left Thursday, drove, spent the night, finished up the drive Friday, and of course drove through rain the entire time. And by the time we got there Friday, they had already determined that the hurricane was not going to hit Charleston, but they were going to have historic floods. So massive flooding was supposed to go on, so we were prepared for that, and maybe the show's still getting canceled once we got there. We got there Friday and had my first spray tan appointment at 4:45. I've never had that done before, so wasn't sure what to expect, and it was interesting. My naive self thought that you had to assign time and everyone went and kind of did it on their own, and any of you who have competed before know that that's not how it works. So they were set up in the host hotel, and there was a big room where all of us went in at the same time, all the women, not, we all had set times, but at least it wasn't co-ed, and we got sprayed. There were booths set up in that room and got sprayed, and kind of had to go stand and dry, which means that a room full of naked women. So knowing me, if you know me, you know this was definitely a little weird for me. I just don't enjoy those kind of things, so that was a little weird. So I had to get 2 coats, which means got sprayed, then had to hang out and dry a little bit, and then got sprayed again, and it was interesting. Orange is putting it mildly. Super dark and nasty. It stunk. It was sticky. I had to put on stuff that kept me covered, and wore black sweatpants and a jacket that zipped up, and it was also raining outside, and we weren't staying in the host hotel. So that tells you. I also had to run back and forth from the host hotel to the car and all this stuff in the rain, obviously trying not to get wet and have my tan run off of my body. So got the first tan done, went and checked in for the show. That was right there in the same hotel, and then went and ate dinner with my family and my parents, who flew in from Tennessee just for the show, which was pretty cool. Ate some salmon and some broccolini, which I've never had before, and then had to go back for my second round of spray tan. That took forever. They were running behind and just took a long time. I didn't leave there till 9:40 p.m. And this was on Friday night. So I had to be up at 3:30 for my makeup appointment at 4:10, which was also at that same host hotel. So got back and got everything ready. I actually slept in my sweatpants, my zip-up jacket, socks, and my hood pulled over my head to keep from getting the spray tan on the sheets and the bedding. So I slept really uncomfortably, and woke up every once in a while, and it just was not obviously a very peaceful night of sleep. Got up at 3:30, pouring down rain, of course, back in my car, drove to the host hotel to get my makeup done, got that done, back out in the pouring rain. At this point, the streets in Charleston are flooding, and they are starting to close streets down. So I thought, oh my gosh, I hope this doesn't end up getting canceled, or something happening, us getting swept away or getting stuck in Charleston. Wasn't sure what was going to happen. So I made it back to our hotel and told my family, what all was going on and how bad it was getting. And we turned on the news, and of course they're having the worst flooding they've had in 500 years. So it was great timing. But the show still is going on. We've checked and nothing's been canceled or postponed or anything. So we went, loaded up, and went back to the host hotel for her to finish just the last little touch of makeup. And then we walked over to Charleston Music Hall, which is where the show was, and the athletes meeting. So we had our meeting. They had decided to push the time back an hour just to allow some of the other athletes to get into town who were having trouble. Like I said, at this point, a lot of the roads were closed off and you could get out of Charleston, but you couldn't get in. So they were trying to allow that time for people to get in, so if they were competing, that they could get there. They also decided, for safety, to cancel the night show and combine everything into one. So that means we would be done in the morning. We would do our 90-second routine, we do our mandatory pose, all that stuff, all at once instead of twice, which I loved because that means I was done after that. I didn't have to come back in the evening. I also hated it because, one, my son and his best friend were back at our hotel because we were only going to bring them to the night show, and we were afraid if we left we wouldn't be able to get back in, so we didn't go get them. And my parents were at their hotel, which was not downtown, not able to get into downtown to come and watch. So here they flew all the way from Tennessee and did not get to come and watch me compete. So that was kind of heartbreaking for me, and I know for them too. They were disappointed. But that's what happened. We got combined into the morning show, which was a really wise choice on their part, just safety wise. And like I said, most of the streets were getting closed down anyway. We were already there, and I think there were about 90 of us out of over 200. There were supposed to be over 200 people there competing, and about 90 of us actually were there and were ready to go. So they went ahead and decided to just push through and get as much done as possible. For some reason, I was a nervous wreck up until Saturday morning. Scared to death. Wasn't sure what was going to happen. Wasn't sure that I had any business being there. Saturday morning, when I got to the music hall, for some reason, everything just settled. I had no nerves. I was perfectly fine, ready to go. Backstage, ready to go. I just felt like, I've prepared as much as I could possibly prepare. I've practiced my posing, I've practiced my routine, I've eaten what I was supposed to eat, I've worked out where I was supposed to work out, I've done everything I'm supposed to do, and I was in the best shape I've ever been in my entire life. I had my body fat done actually right before we left, the day before. And I had waited that long intentionally because it was kind of stuck. About 6 weeks before that, was stuck at a point where I wasn't sure how much more I was going to be able to lose before the show. So the day before we did it, and it was at a little over 9%, 9.8% actually. And I've never been that low before. So, and I felt like I looked the best I could possibly look for that show. So I was very happy with that. I really didn't end up losing that much weight. I know a lot of people were looking at me going, oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight. I lost 15 pounds, which is a lot, but it was all fat, number one. And I still weighed a lot more than people thought I did. So I was still over 130 pounds, which, I think a lot of people were looking at me thinking I was a lot less. So those that were worried about me, nothing to worry about. So after that, I was competing in physique novice, which would be any of us who have not competed before, and then physique masters 35 and up. She had two masters divisions, one was 35 up, one was 45 up. Huge disadvantage for me, I felt like, because I'm 42. That means I'm going to compete with the younger ones, which, kind of sucked. But that ended up being okay. So we had numerical order as far as how we went out to do our posing and our routines. Of course, I was the smallest number, which means I was the first one on the stage. I walked out there and never was nervous. It was very strange. It felt like I was totally comfortable and exactly where I was supposed to be. So we walked out. I made sure, and I really used a lot of what I learned from other competitors that I've been talking to. That was a huge thing for this whole process, is that I made sure I was in contact with a lot of different competitors and getting their input and taking their advice and just making sure I was learning as much as I could possibly learn so that I walked in there ready. One of the things they all told me is confidence. You've got to walk out there and have confidence that you should be there. You know what you're doing, you're not nervous, and to make eye contact and smile at all the judges. So the judges are set up beneath you, beneath the stage, and I walked out and I just made sure I looked all of them in the eye. I smiled at them and let them know that, yeah, I should be here because I feel great and I'm ready. So that was really nice. We did our quarter turns, our mandatory poses. This was the novice group. And then we had to do our 90-second routines, which again, I've practiced over and over and over. So I was the first one to get to come out and do that. It felt great. I had that routine memorized. I could have done it in my sleep. So I walked out, did it. It felt good. Other competitors that were competing later were in the audience too, so they were super helpful. Everyone was really, really nice. They cheered for us and they made sure that we had what we needed as far as support. So that was really nice to have that. The judges were great. They were, smiling back at you when you smiled at them. So I tried to be just really connected to them, and it felt wonderful. So I did that, went back, and the other girls came out and did their routines, which I didn't get to see, unfortunately, so I'm hoping I can go back and see those. Hopefully someone got them recorded because I was backstage. Then they called us all back out to do awards. So there were 4 of us in the novice, and they called out the 4th place girl and went on obviously to the 3rd. And of course at this point I'm starting to freak out a little because there's only 2 of us left. And they called the 2nd place girl. It was not me, and I about fell over because I realized that, oh my god, I just won the class, and I was shocked. Just really excited, and I never expected really to win anything. I just wanted to show up and do my thing, and that was going to be my success. So I was very, very happy and surprised to win that class. Once that was done, we went backstage, and then it was time to come out for the Masters 35 up. It was right after. There were only 2 of us in this class. I'm not sure if there were other girls that just weren't able to make it in, but there were only 2 of us. And I'd already talked to the other girl who was competing with me, and my fear of having to compete against much younger people was definitely coming true, because talking with her, she had just turned 35. So here I'm thinking, great, here she is 7 years younger than me, and she's competed before. I had not. So she had advantage of being younger, being experienced, and actually I thought our physiques were similar. Her strengths were the same as mine. She had, broader shoulders, and her back was really, had a wider back and strong. So her upper body was very, very strong. I thought, oh great, this is gonna stink. But then I started talking to her, and we were talking about kids and things, and she informed me that she had 4 kids, with the youngest one being 1. So I thought, okay, that pretty much leveled the playing field. She may be 7 years younger, and she may be experienced, but this woman has 4 kids and a 1-year-old. So I had, all the respect in the world for her, and to me I felt like, okay, this is pretty level, we're okay. So we went out, we did our quarter turns, our mandatory poses again, and then she got to do her routine since I had already done mine. So I went backstage while she did her routine, and I kind of was able to watch hers from the side. I could definitely tell that she competed before. She was very comfortable, very confident on the stage, and just like me, did those things that you're supposed to do. Watched, looked the judges in the eye, smiled at them, very interactive with them and the crowd. So I knew it was going to be quite a challenge to be going against her. I kind of wished I could have gone out and done my routine again, just so I could, remind them that, hey, I was really feeling good out there. So they called both of us back out. They did the awards. She won. I got 2nd. I don't know how close it was. I haven't seen any, scorecards or anything, so I'm not sure. I think her experience and competing previously helped her, definitely, because she knew what she was doing and knew what they were looking for and things like that. But again, utmost respect for her, especially having young kids, and I'm going to talk more about that later. So anyway, once that was done, we were finished, and went and took some pictures and went and sat in the audience, and we were going to hang out until the end of the show. After we sat for a while, actually probably 2 more hours, we decided that it was probably wise for us to leave, because one, my son and his friend were back at our hotel, and we were really concerned that we weren't going to be able to get out of Charleston downtown in order to get back to him. and we're afraid we were going to be stuck there, and these teenagers were going to be in the hotel by themselves overnight or for who knows how long. Everything was shutting down. I believe at this point they had already declared a state of emergency, and it was really bad. I mean, people were getting swept away. It was really, really bad downtown. We were able to get out. Had to take long ways around, but we were able to get out and get back to our hotel, which thankfully was not downtown. Took a shower, which was my number one priority. You'd think it would have been the food. I just wanted to shower so badly. The spray tan, you know, I had not showered in a day and a half because of that. I stunk. I just felt gross. I was ready to get my, you know, the makeup off my face and wash my hair and just be kind of a clean slate again. So I was looking forward to that. Went back, took a shower, and we decided to go meet my parents for dinner somewhere away from downtown. That was difficult because most everybody was closed. We did end up finding Applebee's. Super exciting, right? So that ended up being our celebration dinner, and I ate well. Macaroni and cheese, and had mozzarella sticks, had dessert, and it was just, my mood dramatically changed. And I think my parents, you know, they even noticed it from the night before. They were like, oh wow, so nice, you know. I think they were happy to see me back to myself again. So enjoyed that, went back, and then the next morning met them, my parents again, for my breakfast that I've been craving for 2 months. We went to IHOP so I could have my French toast and bacon and eggs and hash browns. So that's the meal I was really looking forward to, and it was my dad's birthday. So we had a birthday / celebration breakfast before everybody headed out. So then we headed down here to the beach for vacation, and my parents went back to the airport to fly home. It was over pretty quickly, which was great, and then sad at the same time, because I'm thinking, you know, I trained for 18 weeks for this, and it's over. So, and then got here, and then this morning we ran with my husband, and then went to the gym and lifted, and just, I felt good. I've been eating pretty much what I want, and I can tell. I'll tell you that it happened immediately when I ate my dinner Saturday night after the show. It was actually kind of cool because I've heard about it before. You know, we'd been so carb deprived and just so low calorie that my body was just starving for food. And so we ate Saturday night. By the time we got back to the hotel, my arms were so pumped up. It was crazy. I kind of wished I had had that dinner for breakfast that morning before the show. My veins were popping, and it was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but it was really cool. Like, check it out. I mean, this is just from loading up my body with the carbs and sodium and all that stuff that I've been lacking. So anyway, did that, and then I've kind of eaten what I wanted since then. I can definitely tell a change already. Like, I can tell I'm sure I've gained back some of it's, I'm sure most of it's water weight, but my joints feel a little swollen, my fingers, my elbows, even this morning my face was a little swollen up, so it's interesting. And I plan on just kind of enjoying myself for a couple days, and then getting back into doing a really, you know, clean eating routine. Because at the beginning, like the first 10 weeks or so of that training, I really felt great, and it was just super clean eating, having one cheat meal a week and things like that. So I'm going to go back to that program and just kind of stick with it because it felt good, and I think it'll help my running, which is going to be my focus again when we get back home. So, in overview, before the show, people were asking me if I thought I was going to do another one, and I said yes, probably. After the show, I will tell you, if you ask me again, the answer is no. And I'm not going to say I'll never do one, because that will definitely come back to bite me in the butt if I say it. Because 10 years from now, I may decide I want to do another one. I don't plan on doing another one. I have found that that whole experience was probably not for me. I made it through, and I really enjoyed the challenge. I really enjoyed pushing myself and being dedicated to something and seeing what I was capable of. And anybody that knows me knows that that's something I thrive on, like running my 100 milers. I don't just pick 100 milers, I pick 100 milers that are a real challenge, because that's part of what I just really enjoy and what kind of keeps me going. So this challenge was very good for me. And I learned a lot, actually, too, as far as diet and things like that. And the mental aspect was huge. So I wouldn't give this experience up, because it was phenomenal, and I think it did a lot of things for me. At the same time, it took away from a lot of what I really, really enjoy. my running, specifically being out on the trails and things like that, my family, which it really actually put a damper on things. This lifestyle, and when you're training or prepping for a contest, totally consumes your life. It is not a few hours a day like when I'm training for an ultra. I can go out and run for 3 or 4 hours in the morning, come back, and I still have the day with my family. I still can eat with them. I can still go out and enjoy things with them. This is not like that. It is a constant, it's constantly on your mind, and it's constantly what you're focused on. If you're not eating, you're thinking about eating, you're thinking about prepping the food that you need. You have to go grocery shopping for the food you need, and it is all consuming. So don't think that you're going to get into this and it not be consuming to your life, because it will be. And I know it's only a short time. It's however long you're training for it. Mine was 18 weeks, and it consumed me the entire 18 weeks. Specifically probably the last 8 weeks were the worst. Mentally, physically, you're exhausted, you're irritable. Ask my family. And the fact that they put up with me for 8 weeks like that is amazing. And it really does affect you. My mind was even foggy. I think I talked about that before. I just, it really, really consumes you, which again is how I talked earlier about the girl I competed with the Masters, having those young kids. I don't know how she does it. Really, I really don't. And she has all the respect in the world from me, because I don't know how you do that with young kids. My kids are old enough to take care of themselves, but it still took away my time from them and the things that I enjoy doing with them. So that was very difficult for me, and I really kind of felt like it was almost a little selfish. So, and I hate to say that because I don't want to offend people who compete on a regular basis and who really love this. I think it's great for some people. It was not great for me. It felt like I was way too focused on myself, and I don't enjoy that. And like I said, it took away from a lot of the things that I really enjoy. So that's why I'm saying I wouldn't do it again. What else from that? Like I said, I learned a lot from it. It was very expensive, so don't think that you're going to get out of it cheap, because you're not. Things added up, and it seemed like every week something popped up that I needed, and it really ended up, I'm not even going to add it up because I don't want to know. It ended up costing me a whole lot of money, and and the fact that it took away some of these things, all those are kind of negatives to me. I had to do a lot of things, especially if I could go all the way through the prep and just do it to see where I could go and then not compete, maybe that would be okay. I did not enjoy going through that whole process of the tanning and making sure your hair and makeup are perfect and all those kind of things, because they're really not that important to me on a normal day-to-day basis, as you can see. I really would rather just have on my shorts and my trail running shoes and a ball cap and go out and play in the mud. That's just me. And I love that too, because my family does it with me. My family goes with me to my races. They crew for me. They're out there with me. They can run miles with me while I'm out there. So for me, that fits my lifestyle and my personality a lot better. Again, for someone else, the competition thing may be their thing, and that's great. Good for them. And it takes a tremendous amount of discipline to do it, and to do it correctly. I am very thankful I did it. I'm glad it was one of those things I could check off my list saying, hey, did it, great. It was quite an experience, and like I said, I did learn a lot from it, and I think it'll help me a lot with some of my clients as well. But I think that's about it. It has been an interesting experience. My plan now is to shift back to my running, shift back to just a really clean eating schedule, and just enjoying things, definitely in moderation. Like I said, maybe once a week like I was doing early on in the prep, and focus on maybe getting a little faster with my running. I don't plan on doing any long races anytime soon. If I do another 100, it won't be probably till next fall, so at least a year. But until then, I'm going to focus on speed and working on things like that. So I really, really appreciate how much support and encouragement all of you have given me. And that's all of you guys, whether I've met you or not, including my family, who have been, like I said, they put up with me when I was the biggest pain in the ass the last 8 weeks, and never, I mean, they told me I was a pain in the ass, but I knew I was, so it's no big deal. But they still were so supportive of me, and they really helped me stay on track and make sure my goal, I was focused on my goal. So I thank them tremendously for that, and I thank all of you guys for your encouragement. Everyone was super encouraging to me, and it helped me a lot. So having that support system has been great. So thank you so much again for following me on this journey, and I plan on doing some more regular videos to update you on things I have going on. And I'm going to go and enjoy my vacation, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week.